This is episode 3 of No School Station, a miniseries by Studium Generale and the Art Education as Critical Tactics team of ArtEZ. Welcome back to No School Station, a podcast where we share our views and reflection on the idea of no school, a creative space in which students and teachers are part of a community of learners, working together in a constant process of co-creation. We want to inspire and inform you on that idea, but we also want you to think along. This third episode is titled No School, No Home. We have all lost our schools in this moment, our homes for learning. But the no-school pedagogy sometimes operates outside institutional frames, and sometimes outside buildings. No school can be home-based, but it can also be nomadic. What does this mean for learning and creating in times of crisis? First up is our curator, Fabiola Camuti, with a contribution titled The Unbearable Lightness of Being at Home. She brings us into our own process of self-learning in a nomadic way. Even when this happens in the inside space of a home, how can we turn a closed space into a space for learning and discoveries? Sit back, close your eyes, and connect.
As we discussed in our previous episodes, the connection between education and the school building is quite an important one. Sometimes in schools we feel at home, surrounded by our fellow learners. And schools can become also safe spaces, not only for learning, but also for creating. A new home, a home you chose for yourself, a home in which you will be seeing yourself growing, discovering parts of yourself you did not know existed, or allowing parts of yourself to flourish more and more. We also talked about how the school building can be a powerful magnet that attracts us all, connects us all. But now we're in our homes, inside. Easy to say for some, not so easy for others. Because, well, homes can be magnets as well. And sometimes a magnet that can crush us. Too small, too big, too empty, too loud, too quiet. Or sometimes too cozy, that can also happen. I am pretty sure many of us have met with the incredible magnetic power of couch and binge watching these days. And we did not lose just our schools, our chosen home. We have lost theaters, museums, movies, and those same activities that create communities and in which and through which communities create and live. So, how can we, as part of a community of learners, bring a bit of that creative home that our school is for us every day into the walls of the other home in which we know we will be spending more time than usual? And I am not talking about online classes. We're already doing that. In fact, these days, schools already entered our homes through our laptops, and that can also feel somewhat overwhelming. I am talking about a way of wandering in a place that seems closed, a way of discovering new possibilities for being creative and nomadic, a way to move from one thought to another, making every image count in our process of learning and creating. Self-learning, self-creating, catching phrases, distancing noises, moving words, turning pages, opening doors and seeing faces, finding options and following routes. I remember when I was a child, and later on a bit more than that, having to spend time in the house of my grandmother in the little village on the Sicilian mountains where my father grew up. Can't say I didn't like it, but can't say I chose it either. I knew the place, of course, but it did not really feel like home. But there was one room, my uncle's room, which day after day started giving me new perspectives. First, comic books. It was easier as a child. He had so many of them. Then other books, all kinds of them. Then vinyl records, VHS with old movies. And then one day, I just found myself being happy of staying at home. Me, the social animal of the family, the one who always wanted to go outside and play, and it was never enough. But I was playing, just in a different world, maybe impossible world. Why am I telling you this? Because among those old VHS, there was one recording of a cabaret performance of Giorgio Gaber. an Italian artist. And there was one specific song in that performance, which was surely not that clear to me as a kid, but that came back as a strong, vivid memory in these days at home. C'è solo la strada su cui puoi contare. C'è solo la voglia e il bisogno di uscire. You can only count on the street, he sings. There is only the desire and the need to go outside, to expose yourself in the street. Because the last judgment does not happen at home, the home where we hide. We need to go back to the street, in the street, to know who we are. And when the memory of this song came back to me, I did it again. I sat back and I acknowledged my need, my desire to go outside. And I managed once again to find that space, that bookshelf in my uncle's room, to recreate those streets in which I could learn something about myself, to bring the streets inside rather than looking at them from the window. If it is true, as I believe it is, that learning is a lifelong process, then maybe what I did, what I am still doing, is finding yet another aspect of my personal no school. And this time, I just found it here, next to me, and I explored it, as I hope you will as well, knowing that the day will come when we'll bring it outside once again. So, let's find ways to keep our community alive, to bring down the walls of the school so that this can go viral. Learners make schools, and while schools are closed, students, learners can bring those no schools, those homes, in other places yet to be discovered.
Next, we have a conversation between our curator Cassandra Onck and Lin Wu Adams, an ArtEZ alumni. Lin studied theater in education and afterwards went to China to experience home in a new way. Now, she is exploring new ways of education that help us search for the home within ourselves.
Hello, everybody. Here Lin Wu Adams. Thanks for listening. Now it is 10 April and I'm sitting in Germany and the grass, and maybe you can hear in the background the birds.
Hey Lin, this is Cassandra, and I can definitely hear the birds, and I can already imagine being outside in the grass with you. But right now I am in my home in the middle of the city, surrounded with mainly walls, so unfortunately you won't hear any birds when I speak. But I do really like that we all get to enjoy a bit of nature when you share your thoughts with us today. Our theme for today's episode is No School, No Home. And Lin, after you graduated from ArtEZ, you left your home in the Netherlands and traveled to China to search for your roots. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about your personal journey from home to home?
I learned a lot about feeling home in a new world because my father's Chinese and I am grown up in Holland, and there in China I learned about a new language, I learned about new food, I learned about actually everything I was used of. I found it normal because everything was new. So it was an exercise to let go of everything I knew before and maybe everything I was before. And I realized when I let go all the people in Holland, when I let go all my stuff in Holland, when I let go all the insurances in Holland, everything that makes life more feeling safe, I realized that making space for something new was the best choice in my life.
Thank you for sharing that. And it actually makes me quite curious. How is it now for you as an artist and an educator to work in such a nomadic way?
I'm currently living a little bit as a nomad, also because of the coronavirus. I needed to go away from China and went to go home back to Holland, but then I go to Germany. And I feel, wow, this is a beautiful way to experience home during your journey of life and during traveling. And this is exactly also what I try to do as a teacher in education, because I'm an art teacher, and what I'm doing with children is to try to teach them what life can be and what life wants to be instead of what life must be.
Yeah, to me that sounds like something that really fits our current situation. And building upon that, Lin, do you maybe have a call for action for our listeners?
The call of action. Nice question, Cassandra. I have actually 2 calls of actions for the listeners. The first call of action is actually a funny one because it is not really about action. Wherever you are, try to find a calm place where you feel safe and sit down or lay down or whatever feels comfort to you, and just close your eyes and focus on your breathing. And you can say without real words or with words, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And only this simple thing will bring you back to the now, because the body can only live in the moment. And instead of your head, who can live in the past or the future with all the worries. What life can be, what all can be wrong in life, or the past, or what it was and it was so nice, or it was so bad and I want to go back. No, my call of action is to let go the past and the future and just become in the now. And my second call of action is to think about a new way of education, about an area, a place, a space for children, but also for everybody who wants to learn more about life, that is about everything that we don't know yet. So it is about a space that brings us out of our comfort zone and shows us that everything is actually possible, what we thought that was not possible in life. And one little example is that today I climbed a mountain and I thought that it was not possible. I have an injury in my knee, so I thought it is never possible to climb that mountain. But I tried to say, Lin, come out of your comfort zone and think you can do this. And I did it. And this sounds maybe as a little thing, but for me it showed today that I can do the impossible thing. That is possible. So I would love to ask you to think about this, and maybe I will meet you in the future and we can talk about it later. Thank you for having me, Cassandra, and to all the listeners, all the health and wisdom to you. Bye.
As always, we want to end on a piece of music. We want to make creation a part of reflecting, and the sharing of those reflections a starting point for learning. The music for this episode is chosen by Tom Jansen, a music theater performer. He will sing The Vagabond, composed by Ralph Vaughan Williams. A vagabond's life is in constant crisis, but the way the character describes it in this song doesn't have any negativity in it at all. For Tom, this is best shown in the last sentence of the piece. All I seek is the heaven above and the road below me. The only thing he wants to try in life is to follow the path that is there for him, instead of creating one. Tom thinks the way the character looks at the world in this song is something we can learn from in our current situation.
Give to me the life I love, let a leaf go by me. Give the jolly heaven above and the byway nigh me. Bread in the bush with stars to see, bread I dip in the river. There's a life for a man like me. There's a life forever. Let the blow fall soon or late, let what will be o'er me. Give the face of earth around and the road before me. Wealth I seek not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I seek the heaven above, and the road below me. Oh, let autumn fall on me, where field I linger, silencing the bird on tree, biting the blue finger. White as milk the frosty field, warm the fireside haven. Not to autumn will I yield, not to winter even. Let the blow for soon or late, let what will be o'er me. If the face of earth around and the road before me, wealth I seek not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I seek the heaven above, and the road below me.
And that concludes episode 3 of No School Station, a collaboration between Studium Generale ArtEZ and the Art Education as Critical Tactics team. The show is curated by Fabiola Camuti and Cassandra Onck. It is edited by Joke Alkema and produced and hosted by me, Dennis Gaans, for Studium Generale. Our theme music is by Mauro Casarini. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay inside, stay connected.